Clowns and Jedi. I've got all of these emotions for you. Each one of them is a chubby clown who's been forced to get into a small circus car. Shakes is riding shotgun and cussing a blue streak because that freak Clarabelle is at the wheel. These rosy-nosed jesters represent frustration and impatience respectively. And Ronald McDonald is hunger and desire and greed all wrapped up in a nice big pair of size 15s. And my mischief is embodied by Sideshow Bob and Bozo. Fear is an 8-legged helium-huffing Pennywise. And Michelle Bachmann, well, the best that I can figure, she's just a clown. And these emotions are all cramming into this miniaturized Yugo, whipping cookies around the center ring at 5 miles per hour. And the power steering has just conked out. And my sensibilities are these thin-skinned balloons, pregnant with confetti and bursting apart, pop, pop, popping to the dashboard beat of Barracuda by heart. And I am not always scatterbrained like this, of course. It's amazing, like the Force, with the focus of Luke Skywalker doing one-armed handstands. And Luke was not showing off, because he only had an audience of 2, a malfunctioning droid and a bossy Muppet. It's amazing, because after all this, you doubt whether you float my boat. Darling, you have got me hovering like Skywalker's X-Wing 10 feet off the Dagobah swamp. I love you in all the ways Han Solo was afraid to say. And I know that Carbon Freeze was way back in the day, but that was Empire and not Star Wars. And that was 1980, not the late 70s. And these may seem like the tiniest of trifles, but they're not. Like Dick Sargent was still Darren, but he wasn't Dick York. In the way that the name Mindy is incomplete without Mork. And like a Halo 3 Needler beats a KFC Spork. How could you see this movie and not be moved? I am the new and improved version of new and improved. Now that's how powerful Empire was for me. So when the Lucasfilm cronies yell cut, and the old Jedi Master relaxes his wrinkled green fist, and the midget inside R2-D2 pops the top for a breath of fresh air, and Frank Oz takes his hand out of Yoda's butt, and he grabs an egg salad sandwich, and the X-Wing is still hovering in midair. That's not the Force keeping it there. Ask the true Star Wars geeks, they've already checked. That's not some advanced CGI or some green screen effect, that's love, baby. That's my chubbiest emotional circus clown, and he's not going to set the X-Wing down until you love me back. Thank you. Thank you. So I've scared up a batch of poems that tie into the upcoming Valentine's Day holiday. It's hard to think of romance and the romantic languages without thinking of French. So here's a poem about my favorite French character, Pepe Le Pew. This is La securite pour toujours. There are poems in these clothes, she tells herself, for nowadays he smells like the first drag of the day. It wasn't always like this, but nowadays he smells like the first sip of communion wine. He smells faintly of Fun Dip. He smells like childhood bedroom wallpaper, like the dress she wore to confirmation, like your very first sunburn, like the very first batch of cotton candy you didn't have to share, like chewable vitamins dissolving on the tongue, like chocolate chip cookie dough when your mother stepped out of the kitchen. He smells like the magazines in first class, like floodwater sandbags handed off at dawn, like bong hits for Jesus. He smells like the crystals of a kaleidoscope. He is substance, so much more than black and white. And she's caught the scent of random Casanovas and other well-groomed hustlers, and they reek of empty bottles and empty one-night stands. She is still a little jaded, a recovering xenophobe, a novice romantic, and he finds this all forgivable, for the chemistry is there. What's more, he smells like the security of forever. She knows he'll never leave her. He'll be faithful to the end. And she knows he isn't perfect. Turns out he isn't really from Paris. He grew up in Andorra, making him a bit of a poser and perhaps a little insecure. But she finds this all forgivable, for the chemistry is there. And in regards to his smell, well, He only truly offends when he's nervous or embarrassed. And now that the actual pursuit is over, this happens less and less and less. He is still courting her, though. The seductions come like clockwork. And it's fantastic. Every time they fool around, it's a noisy, tangled mess. It's bliss, it's heaven, and it's no sin. Nothing separating the lovers but a single plainful stripe. A lifetime of happiness she was just waiting to inhale. Thank you.